and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Cordish, joined by Superintendent Hime. No special guests, but we have a lot of great things
a lot of things going on.
Yes, we have a busy week last week with our farm days, so would you like to share?
Farm days, and a big shout out, and I know there's a lot of people involved, but Josh Sullivan does a good job with that, putting it together, and he works pretty hard at it. Then our ag team, Mr. McPhail, Mr. New, and Colby.
Mr. Turner,
Mr.
yes.
Turner, they worked hard getting that together, but I went out there. We had lots of kids out there and it looked like they were having a great time walking around. There was like 10 stations or something they went to, and they got to see a cow get milked and see animals and have some actual displays, but actually see it, some hands-on stuff, but actually see some things. But it was out at the Coliseum, yes. And so I thought that was a success, so a big shout out to them for their hard work in getting that put together. And I saw our representatives there. Our Senator Kern was there. Representative Caldwell was there. So we had two of those there just the time I was out there, and there were some other people out there in our city and community leaders. So big shout out
lots
to
of volunteers
how that went, and the volunteers and so forth. So
well,
thank you for everybody who helped with that.
And it's a great event for our students to get introduced to what's to come in the middle school and the high school for them ag-wise.
Yes, and that's our challenge is when we move to pathways, and part of the moving to pathways, and that kind of stems into what we're talking a lot about today, is in 24 the legislators changed the graduation requirements. Well, some of that affected what we at Lawton were doing. We already were starting to create pathways and move our students that way, but it requires some different graduation requirements, so we have to adjust our school and some of the things we do with our students. And so one of the things we're doing is we obviously AIM, which is
apprenticeship, internship, and mentorship.
It's been a huge success here in Lawton. I've came and watched some of that and gotten to witness some of the great stories that the people have put that on. And we've been doing 20. Well, I challenged them to do more this year, and they're going to 40.
Yes.
So that's going to be a challenge for the sponsors and the show chaperones and so forth. But that's exciting because that's been a good program. And then the other thing we look at is our career fair is a huge success. Well, we got to talking when we had it last year, why aren't we doing something for our 8th graders so they can, because they're actually choosing their career as 8th graders because that's the pathway. So they're going to have
the Academy Quest. And so
Academy
Quest is similar to what we do for our juniors
yes.
for the career fair, and they'll be at the Life Ready Center where our students are going to share back.
Yeah, and that'll be in November, so it's still got a while and some planning, but it's basically going to help our 8th graders, or if you have an 8th grader, choose their pathway as they move into high school, and that's very important. Now, look, we have an academy. You pick the academy. There's multiple pathways in the academy. This is not a deal where you choose and that's where you're stuck. You can move around just like college students change their majors. You can go from pathways to pathways in the academy, or even change academies. There's no restrictions, but it is important because one thing we try to do as a district, because of what we offer here at the Life Ready Center and what we are, even our career tech classes and our concurrent classes and the multiple of other electives we offer to help those pathways and enhance those pathways, we try to make sure our students aren't restricted by the required classes to graduate their junior and senior years. So
Correct.
That leads us to the Algebra 1 question that people ask. Well, the new law says this year's 8th graders have to have 4 maths, Algebra 1 or higher. So that means if they don't take Algebra 1 as an 8th grader, they'll have to take 4 maths every year. Mm-hmm. You got to have 4 maths, 4 English. Then you look up, and as a senior, they might have a math class, a history class, an English class, and a science class, and
that they're required to take,
and even could have a social studies. I mean, they could be stuck with 4 or 5 required if they're an athlete or an extracurricular. They don't really have time for any extra or any of the block classes over here. So we started with encouraging most 8th graders, and encourage sometimes means we're going to start them out and seeing if they can handle it in Algebra 1. We'll push pre-algebra down to 7th grade, and we'll better prepare our students to get on those pathways when they're freshmen and not get them bogged down. And bogged down's a bad word because they need those math classes. I'm not opposed to the math skills, but I want to make sure, because some of the classes we have over here that are so great are our workforce, our construction classes and the welding classes. Some of those are 2-hour classes. Yes. Where they take up 2 class periods. So that's 2 hours you're not able to, that's 2 electives instead of 1 that class is. So you need room for a lot of electives.
Well, and as you get older, so your junior and senior year, you're involved in more, and
Yes.
your opportunities for internship to go out there and see, to explore if that's really what you want to
Yes.
continue to
And
go
that's
into the
the
next
general
level.
idea.
Right. Exploration is key here, and that's what we want. So we're expanding those opportunities
Yes.
for our 8th graders.
So it creates more opportunities for the 8th graders by getting Algebra 1 that although the graduation requirements were good for some schools, we had adapted to the present graduation requirements to give our kids opportunities. In our adaptation, again, we had to change what we were doing because that was going to cause restrictions on what we were doing if we didn't adjust to the new law.
And it's a great reminder, too, for our families that are still either new or just not tracking, but concurrent is free for our sophomores,
All of them.
and juniors and seniors if they meet the requirements.
And we still have not enough.
We can take more.
We will do more.
That's it. Get those hours in on Lawton Public Schools time.
There you
and
go.
then let's talk about what we're doing with Ag. We brought that up a little bit, but Ag has a big fundraiser going on.
Blue and gold sausage. Everybody knows they have it, so
Yes.
find you an Ag. It's so much easier now to buy blue and gold sausage, but find somebody you know or call up here and you can buy blue and gold sausage.
Check your screen too, because we'll have the QR code or the description down on the bottom where you can purchase it online.
Yeah,
make
and
it
I think
easy.
even for simplicity, we'll give them a shout out, but I think
Discount Foods
warehouse,
store.
I think
Yes.
and that's on Lee. I think they sell our sausage and help with that fundraiser. So that's a big shout out to them.
It's good stuff. They have more than just sausages if you'd like to take a look online.
Yes, obviously, there's a lot there that they offer. So, and I know your children sell it, or at least one of them.
Yes, you can always hit me up. We can get that. We'll take care of it.
But if you need
they are trying
somebody-
to hit their goal as a group.
As a group, and if
that's
you
right.
need to know somebody in your area or whatever, send it to info
Yes.
at lawtonps.org. Send us an email, and we will tell us where you live. If you need to just give us your address, we'll find the closest school to you and find somebody to come talk to you about.
Correct.
So you can buy some blue and gold sausage and other products. Their chicken, their bacon is really good, and I know they sell chicken
Tamales.
and tamales. Now they
Yes.
sell a lot. They've expanded what
ham
they
for
sell.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they've expanded that, but.
We got lots of other things to talk about. Let's talk about the pumpkin patch that's supposed to come soon.
Oh, man, isn't
for
that-
our pre-K kids.
We're going to put a pumpkin patch in for the pre-K kids. They're going to put it out at the Ag. Again, that's something that our VOAG classes are doing, and we're going to put it out there. So all of our pre-K kids will get to go to a pumpkin class here in town. They'll get a pumpkin, and we're excited about that. And I'm sure we'll have more information as we get closer, but that's just, put it on your radar. It's pretty exciting.
Correct. And then let's switch to the fine art side, something that we started last year at our football games, and this year we'll do it
yes.
again. And this time we're going to add choir. So will you share
All
what
of our musics, our bands and choirs will play the national anthem together at a football game at Cameron on September 26th, I believe.
Correct.
So that's exciting. We're excited about that because we do one thing we get when we visit with our leadership groups, which we're going to start up pretty quick, when we visit our student leaderships, one thing they always come back to us on is they would like to see more Lawton activities. Not that they don't like their Ike and Mac and Lawton High activities, they would just like to see more activities done together. So this is something that we're doing as a district as a whole. All of those band choir students from all 3 sites are going to play. So it's going to be, there's liable to be 300 students out there when you put them all together.
Great.
It's going to be a lot of students out there doing the national anthem. I'm excited.
We're going to fill that football field up with fine arts.
Yeah, because, sometimes we talk about it. Sometimes as schools, the only thing we hear about are the negatives. We forget about the positives. So that's a great deal for them.
And just to mark your calendar, because we're really excited, last year our LPS production as far as stage and drama, they did
Grease.
and then this year they're going to do Mamma Mia.
So they're already starting to do, they're going to be moving
Look
fast.
out for that information
Yes.
if you're interested in participating. Now let's go to something that we didn't get to celebrate yet, but we've seen a lot of work being done in the summer and the start of the school year between our renovation and upgrades install teams as far as what's out there. And
Yeah,
what
they're
we're
putting
doing.
floors in. We have our own installed team. I think they said last year we did 70,000 square foot of floors, which is pretty awesome.
And then
And that we got new flooring in. Obviously, we have if you look at Lawton High, there's new sidewalks there, and that's a big safety issue. We cleared that out so when students are crossing over to the new locker room, there's not parked cars that they're coming out between. That makes traffic flow better because it made the road a little wider as well.
They did the LRC. They did some of the potholes over
Yeah, they
there.
kind
We
of
still have
concreted them
more.
in. They're still not perfect, but at least you can't lose your car in there now.
Yes, not now, but we're still working. And so we just want to give a quick shout out to our maintenance teams and renovation and
They do a
install
great
teams.
job.
Yes, they're making us look good, and we love it. And our print shop for all the vinyl.
Oh yeah,
and the
when
perf
you
windows.
see all the when you see all the windows at different schools, it's our print shop doing it, and they're doing other things that they've expanded, and we appreciate that team for what they do for the school.
Now next week, I think it's next week. Yes, September is going by so fast. I can't believe it already.
Friday night
is
Lawton High and
MacArthur
for the city championship.
Let's see how that goes.
It's going to be a great game. Looks like the weather is going to be really good Friday night.
And that is, I'm going to keep everybody on their toes to see who claims that championship for this year. So good luck to both teams.
Yes.
And then next week we are going to have the LPS Foundation Breakfast on the 19th.
Yes, the 19th is the Foundation Breakfast. So get your tickets.
Yes. And a reminder to our families, that is a professional development day for our staff, so no students.
Yes, and to honor the new law, we took out the virtual days because the new law they passed, although there was still a little bit of flexibility this year, we just felt the law was passed. If you wait a year, that could create some confusion. Well, why are they not doing it this year? So we just went ahead and revamped our schedule to take the virtual days out.
That's right. And then the last thing I'll say about the foundation is they have their teacher grants open now.
Yes.
And that's always huge because I believe last year was almost $100,000 worth
Big
of
shout
grants.
out to our foundation. They're a huge help. I mean, there's so many things we've done. There's not many things that have changed that have turned out successful since I've been here, and I'm sure well before I got here, that the foundation doesn't have a part of it. Their footprint's not involved in the creation of, I know like when we got here and did maker spaces, I called the foundation. They put in $50,000, I think, right off the bat. So we had money to get those started. And when you're doing, 18 maker spaces in one day, it took a lot of money. So.
And they help with concurrent. They pay our
Yes,
fees for
they
our
help
students.
pay the fees so that it's free for everyone. That's still kind of a shocker to everyone that all of our kids that they can get their, like I said, we've had some get their associate's degree for free.
We had 4 last year. Let's see how many we get this year.
Yes.
We're really thrilled for that program.
Yeah, I saw a challenge this week. Somebody told me when I went to the OU Michigan football game, the first game I've got to go to in years.
Yep.
And I had a Michigan fan sitting behind me. But I'm pretty sure they told me that the quarterback from Michigan, which is some big 5-star, is going to be he's just a true freshman. He graduated high school with his bachelor's degree.
Wow.
He's already working on his master's. So there's a challenge to some great student out there.
That can do it. There's somebody, they can do it.
Yes.
And we're here to help. Now, a friendly reminder about the all-season passes. We've been printing them a lot.
Yes.
So we still have them, and then 50% goes back to
It's a fundraiser.
Program of your choice, this athletic program.
Yeah, so again, we talked about it. Soccer could sell them, even like cross country that really doesn't get any activity money.
Golf.
Tennis, some of those sports that don't get a lot of activity money from gate money, they could sell and get a little of their and build some money in their activity account. So, and I know we kind of started that late. So next year when we start, we'll start in May, and then you can sell them all summer. And I think that'll help. But if you want a season pass to get you in everything that school participates in, does not get you in MAC games unless, if you got an Ike pass, it doesn't get you in a MAC game at MAC unless Ike's playing MAC. So,
but it does help. And so
I know we've had a little bit of confusion with those, but I think for the most part, those have gone for the first year and rolling them out, and I think they've gone really smooth. Big shout out to the gatekeepers and people involved in that.
Thank you. It does take a team. Is there anything else you want to share with our families?
Webpage, lawtonps.org.
And then email again?
info@lawtonps.org.
All right. And then I think we will not have a podcast next week. We'll be out, and then, we have some conferences to take care of, but other than that, we'll have the following one with some special guests and our students, because our student advisory committee is gearing right back up.
Yep.
So we're excited.
We are excited.
All right, you guys, until next week or next time, be well, stay safe, make positive impacts, and be sure to like and subscribe to our social media channels. See you then.